It must be cold as heck up there.
It is pretty cold. We got
It's even cold here.
yeah, we got about 10 inches of snow a couple of nights ago. It's been cool.
Wow.
Okay. Can you guys see my homework here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Name the second type of correct reason and use a classical syllogism to demonstrate its use.
Because I told you to take out the garbage.
Sorry, again.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, this is a reasoning by way of causation.
Nope.
Nope. Second type of correct reason. Identity.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna get it in one more try if I was still wrong.
Drachichen.
Oh. Yeah, great. Yeah. Mitate chebecher.
Yay.
Okay, now how does the reason relate to what we're trying to prove?
Yeah. Anything which is chepa is mitakpa, anything which is made is changing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we've got of the three types of correct reasons, we're dealing with the second one in this case, which is a perfect reason based on the thing's nature. So the law of identity or the law of equivalence, I guess, could also be considered being based on the thing's nature. The biggest thing was really recognizing that they're wrong shin chi, right?
Good.
Okay.
I like how you laid it out. It's nice.
Thanks, Ken. Give two ways that we can confirm that a reason is of the second type.
Two ways. I guess either the reason is an example, or sorry, either the assertion is an example of the reason, or it's the same thing. It's either a one-way or a two-way relationship of identity.
Yeah, and that's so when we were covering Chi Chedrak in the Dura, we went through a test on how to recognize whether something was a member of a set or not.
Yeah.
Three requirements, I think.
Yeah, there were three requirements. One of them was specifically if we cancel one of the elements, does it affect the other one?
Yeah, okay. So if you removed all the mitapas in the world, you'd remove chepa, or what's the?
Yeah, exactly. And vice versa. Crickets. Okay, so there were two. We had basically canceling one of the elements. So if we get rid of the quality of being made or produced, does that also cancel the quality of being changing? And I think we can say that it does. The interesting part that I noticed, something Geshe-la said the last time, which was that the qualities of being changing and the qualities of being made both come into existence simultaneously, as opposed to the causally effective relationship of, let's say, smoke and fire. So, like Ben, we were talking about the three types of correct reasons, and you said the what was it you said first? I can't remember. What you
I
said.
tried causal first.
Yeah, causal. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
So that would actually be an example, smoke and fire, because there would be like a linear progression rather than a simultaneous kind of occurrence.
Cool.
All
All right then.
Yeah, list the two kinds of correct reasons based on the thing's nature and give an example of each.
Ooh, that's a good one for this class. Hey, Adam,
Yes, sir.
the way to get people to shut up, it's not to tell them to shut up, it's to ask them a homework question. And you get total silence. It's unbelievable.
Is it relationship and identity, Adam?
No.
There were it has to do with kind of drilling down and applying more specificity,
Hmm.
Mm.
right? Because we were talking about YIPA last class, and then further specifying what YIPA we were talking about. But there were two flavors of YIPA. We had a more general application, and then we had one that was more specific.
If the reason depends on a specific detail, or the reason does not depend on a specific detail?
Oh, oh, this one.
It's Tibetan.
Nice.
Okay. Wait.
That's
K-part.
yummy. That's
K-part.
yummy.
K-part talk. Pao way talk and K-part to
Yeah.
way talk.
Good.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, good job, guys.
Yay.
Yeah.
So correct reasons based on things nature, on the thing's nature, or the reason does not depend upon distinctions. So the main thing I think is the reason comes without using qualifiers, like adjectives or adverbs to kind of modify anything.
Right.
A good example.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's Chen mitakte yubechir.
Okay, so now we have the second type of correct reasons based on the thing's nature are things that depend upon distinctions. So here we use qualifiers. So a good example would be, let's see, did I even put one in here? So I think the one from the text was, I had it in here. I don't think I put it in though. It's in the page here. Because it's just applying YIPA, you're actually saying for. So something that exists as a working thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's correct. Yeah.
Applying, you're just applying more specificity to it.
Nice. Nice. That's a good way to say Kepar. Talk power, keep it the power.
Not worry about. Yeah.
So a majority of our vocab was kind of in here. The main ones, Kepar the Bawetak and Kepar Dog Bawetak.
Yeah, nice.
The main takeaways. Shuki.
Good, nice.
Due to that,
Almost.
Keep going. I know you got it in there. Keep going.
I think Gibson said it.
What was
is it
that?
implied?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yay, Gibson.
Okay, and yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me cook this. If this were not the case, the seminary else was saying that sensitive about starting. Also needs to be called like a reason based on things in nature. Data mina kenden yang dramita berdupe the power member number kundasung. Okay, so this takes a lot of explanation, okay, Adam? And it's very difficult. So would you say that if I said Drachichen mitakte kenden yimbecher, okay? If I said Drachichen mitakte kewa dan demba yimbecher, would you say correct or not? And what does it mean? Drachichen means what?
Consider sound.
Mitakte.
It's changing.
Ken den yimbecher.
Now, again, Den, I was a little.
Because it involves starting. Yeah, great, perfect. Because it involves starting. Okay. And now does this reason, because it involves starting, is that giving a feature? Does that depend on a distinction, or is it free of a distinction? Does the word involve starting?
Depends on a distinction.
Yeah, and what he wants to say is the distinction is the starting part. You see what I mean? So I'll give you the opposite, okay? Take sound, it's changing because it involves something.
Okay.
Okay, that's a bad reason, right? Just because it involves something doesn't mean it's changing, okay? So you have to qualify what's involved. You can't just say demba yimbecher, okay? You can't just say because it possesses something, okay? You have to say kewa dan demba. You must state the distinction, otherwise you're in trouble, okay? So I'll ask you a question. If you say Drachiten, mitakte, ken den yimbecher, have you stated a distinction or not?
You haven't qualified the Kingdom.
No, you have qualified the den as ke. Okay. Yeah, I didn't say kewa. I didn't say demba yimbecher. Demba yimbecher means because it has something. Okay. Now I'm going to qualify it. Because it has starting, it's impermanent, okay? It's changing, okay? Good. Now, is that, and I did give a qualification, so it's kepa tepawa, okay? When I say Drachichen, midakte, kewa dan dembecher, it's kepa tepawa. Why? Because it depends on a certain clarification. What's the clarification or the distinction? I told you what it has. It has birth. Oh, if it has birth, then it's impermanent. Yeah, I agree. Okay. If I just say it has something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, that's kepa tabawa. Okay. To say it has something, but I don't tell you what it is, that's kepa ta. It's not a rangshin kitayandak at all. It's a bad reason. Okay. So this is very interesting. You ready? Put your seatbelt on. I'm going to give you a logical statement, okay? Drachichen mitakte kewa dan dembe echer. Good reason or not?
Sure.
It works.
It is. Yeah. Does it involve a distinction or a qualification?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I told you what it has. Yeah, I told you what it has, okay? And if this is not a qualified reason, okay? If this is an unqualified reason, okay? Then so is yopa when you use it as a reason for dramitakpa, okay? Whoa. Whoa. Okay. He says, okay, he wanted to say, Drachichen, mitakte, yabecher, okay? Adam, is it kepa tabawa or kepa tabawa? Jatichen, mitakte,
It's K part.
yeah, tapao, there's no qualification, right? I didn't say because it exists as a working thing. I didn't say that. I said take sound. It's a changing thing because it exists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, I mean, it's not, it's just a bad reason. Now, if I say it's a correct reason, if I say it is definitely a correct reason, then I must be talking about a certain kind of yopa.
Mhm.
Must be.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's a bad reason. Okay. Okay. So it's understood that if it's a correct reason, it must be kepar
Topa.
tapa. It must have an understood qualification that I didn't state. Okay. I'll say it again. Jachichen, mitakte, yubeche. If it's a correct reason, it must be a kepar tapawa, and the kepar must be invisible somehow. The kepar must be understood somehow. Okay, got it? If it's correct to say, take sound, it's a changing thing because it exists. And if Dharmakirti accepts that as a good reason, then that yupa, because it exists, must mean something more than just plain old yupa. There must be some detail understood in the statement, okay? And both parties would have to understand it. By the way, there's an old trick to get out of these problems in logic texts where you change the intonation of your voice. Okay. Jachichen, mitakte, yamiche. You know, and that intonation of your voice has an implication, but that's not what we're talking about here. This is a very deep idea in this commentary. He says, Kedubje says, it is correct to say Jachichen, mitakte, yebeche, if that yepa is kepa tapawa. What's that mean? If it has other implications.
Yeah.
If it has other implications, okay? What implications would have to be there for it to be correct? Well, if you understood yepa to mean ngopor yepa,
Mhm.
take sound, it's a changing thing because it exists as a working thing. Well, that's obviously a correct reason. That's obviously a correct reason. Okay. If when you say yepa by itself, everyone thinks you mean exists as a functioning thing, then you're covered, right? Then it's a kepa tapawa. It depends on some kind of feature or some kind of qualification. Okay. Are we good?
So far.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay.
True, but how are we supposed to know which one yupa is when someone just says yupa?
Yeah, good. Okay. Now the argument here is kepa tabawa here would be to say, take sound, it's changing because it possesses something. Then by itself. Then by itself. That's just a bad reason. You have to say, kewa demba, kewa dandemba. Okay. Take sound, it's changing because it started. It had birth. It had a birth. It had a starting. Okay. Then that's kepa tupawa. Then an extra detail has been added. Okay. Now he says something radical here. He says, if you think yupa by itself, in this case, is a bad reason, then you must think kenden is a bad reason.
Chichir.
Because it's the same as yupa. Chichir. You should say chichir again.
I should say tamadru.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because it's the same as yupa. It is the same as yupa because both are qualified.
Tamadru.
What do you disagree to? Oh, kenden isn't qualified?
Kenden is qualified.
Okay, is yupa qualified?
Oh, sir.
It is qualified in our context here. How's that?
What
And that's what
context?
we're gonna go to now. That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
go to now. Okay.
Wait a minute, if
So-
it's understood by all parties, then he could not have said Takmadrup.
Yeah, well, maybe he forgot or something. Okay.
Oh yeah, right.
We're saying here what he says here, kundu tsung so means it's a very radical statement. When I say drachi chan mitakte, take sound, it's changing because it has a starting. Okay.
Mm.
Then that's qualified. I didn't say take sound, it's changing because it has something, but I don't want to tell you. Okay.
But you could
that's-
have if we just knew that that's what it had.
That's unqualified, right? So this what we're saying is Yipa is as qualified as Kenden.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree to that, then Kenden is unqualified.
But he's obviously still got some work to do to explain to us how we were supposed to know that Yupa
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where we're going right now. Hey, Adam, that's the best homework you ever did. And now that homework was like a small essay. I can see you spent a lot of time on it, and I really appreciate it. I can tell when you guys spend time on your homework or you don't spend time on your homework. And that looked like a 3-hour homework to me. All right, here we go.
I did have a question here about the
Uh-oh,
how the
I'm
member
in
was
trouble.
functioning.
Question about what detail?
How the member was functioning here.
I didn't catch it. The what?
The member.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. If yupa is not a qualified reason, then having starting is not a qualified reason. It's all completely equal. Okay. Then if my yupa is not a qualified reason, then this super qualified reason is not a qualified reason because they're the same.
Okay.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. If you say because it has starting is unqualified or is wrong somehow, then okay, then my reason's not a power either, but it is. Okay. If whatever you say about yupa, you would have to say about kenden, because in my mind, they are both qualified. Totally equal. They're both qualified. Okay. Now, Adam, we just have to figure out what is the qualification? In Dharmakirti's mind, it's Dharmakirti who said it was qualified. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
I mean,
He
yeah.
said, when you say take sound, it's a changing thing because it exists. If you're in Dharmakirti school, you should know he means something deeper when he says because it exists. And he says, I shouldn't have to tell you. Okay.
What?
All right. And he didn't tell you. All right. Give me the screen, Adam. Let's get going. That was a great homework, though. You did a great job. Here we go. I still think your room there looks like Harry Potter's some kind of Harry Potter thing. Okay. Where were we?
Just to let everybody know as well, I put the homework 3 in the Google Dropbox as well, or in the Google folder as well.
Oh, good. Okay.
Lessons up.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, hey, Ben Kramer,
Yo.
did Dharmakirti qualify his yupa? I'm going to point out a quotation that we kind of overran, and I'm going to make you guys look back at it again. Here it is. Nam del rang del le. What's that mean, you guys?
Auto commentary to the Ika,
So another commentary is written by
the author himself.
the
Dharmakirti.
same dude. Okay, so here's Dharmakirti. Dala yapa neither namba shapani. When I say that sound really does exist, okay, here we go.
Well,
It's the ni, Ben. When I give yapa,
mm,
that yapa as a reason why sound is changing, okay, number shapani, I mean rangi dagni yipengowo yapa. If
okay.
that's not qualified, that's a whole line of qualified. Okay.
Mhm.
When I say exist, because okay, now Kramer and Mr. Andrade. Here's what here's how Dharmakirti wants to understand it. Okay. Let's take sound. It's a changing thing because it exists as a thing, which has its very own nature.
Okay,
That would be fine.
yeah.
Because we've been talking over and over again about in this school, if it's ultimate reality, it has to work.
Funk, right.
It has to do something, right?
Mhm.
So he says, don't pick on me when I say take sound. It's changing because it exists. When I mean exist, I mean exist really. And in
Well,
my school,
later, not going to, right?
and in my school, you don't exist really unless you do something. Okay, that's all. That's all. And you know, it's interesting because Kidab J is trying to get you to understand that in this school, when you say it really exists, what are you saying? We just had it. Whose text? We had it in Utpala.
It performs a function.
Yeah, it performs a function. Then it's real. If it does something, it's real. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the text. Yay. Oh, we finished this one. Okay. Here's all those definitions for those nerds who really want them. Okay. Kirpa Topawe doc definition.
We're not taking that to have solved our problem, right?
Of course we are.
I mean, does he not still have some responsibility to explain to us how we were supposed to know when he said yupa, he meant really? Because other times when he says yupa, if he is sure as heck going to be including dakpa.
Well, I'll show you. I might answer as a single syllable. You ready? Ni.
Right, but that wasn't in the original syllogism. If it had been, I'd have felt really good about it. But he just didn't say
Hey,
that.
Ben Kramer, I'm going to teach you what to do when your student says something like this. Write to Dharmakirti. Write him a complaint letter. Don't bug me. Okay. No, you're
And
right.
you're supposed to
I mean,
remember the
you're
line
almost-
from above.
Nah. Okay. Hey, guess what, you guys? We get to talk about something we understand. I think Kidab J put it in here just as a break. In fact, he has a beautiful little poem here to give us it's called what did I call those guys? Relaxation poem. When the book gets too heavy, you put in a little diddle to make the students feel good. Okay. All right, Adam, let's go reading. Rebecca's dying. She just couldn't get enough in the last class.
Nipa. Ni lagak shak pang stunde. Shinuk kapani.
Yeah, now he's talking about the definition of yupa, okay? And this is kind of the moment in your book, Adam, where he kind of comes out of the closet and says, yeah, this is a Shidrupki Namshak. What's that, Adam? Shidrupki Namshak.
This is a presentation of existing phenomena.
Yeah, and you know, all the Dura texts, all the beginning logic texts, They start with little things like
Kamar,
nice,
Kadokishi.
kadokamar,
Yeah.
kadokamar, a deep discussion of red and white. Okay. And Kidubje says, come on, that's kid stuff. Let's jump right into the Dura where we are discussing what does it mean to exist? What does it mean to exist? And we're going to cover that in 3 parts, Adam. Explain them slowly to your audience.
Let's see, you've got Shinmuk Gakpa, which is where somebody comes and presents their position, and then we kind of refute what they say.
Yeah.
You got Shinmuk Gakpa, which is where we present our own view.
Yeah, Rangluk Shakpa. Rangluk
Excuse
Shakpa.
me. Yeah, Rangluk Shakpa.
Okay.
And Sipa Hongwa, which is essentially where we allow the person to come and
yeah, he gets to come back and defend himself, and we destroy him again. We destroy him again. He tries to throw a punch, and we punch him out again. Okay, similarly, of those 3 steps, here is how we deny the position of the other guy, which is, it's interesting. In classical monastic pedagogical theory, educational theory, you always start with something wrong and you prove it's wrong. And then only after that, you're allowed to study what's right. So first you study all the mistakes and then you learn what's right. It's kind of like real life, right? First you make all your mistakes and then you figure out what's right. Okay, so here's the debate. Christina Kasica is still asking if she could check you. So, okay, I'll agree. Okay.
Hello? Yeah.
Yodan Sheja Dunchik, Shepadan Rik Dunchik, Che Serte.
Sir.
Sir. Yeah. Hey, Adam, if the sentence ends in sir, what are we supposed to think about it?
That it's bunk.
Yeah, it's a wrong idea. It's a wrong idea. Okay, when the sentence starts with kachignare, which means some idiot gets up and says, and if it ends with fair, means that's what he claims, then everything between that is supposed to be
horribly incorrect.
Yay, horribly incorrect. Okay, so I'll start out with this. Okay, this is where this discussion starts, Adam. Is yupa a synonym with yule?
No.
Right, yule, shepa, sheja, shelja. What's the other one? Shidupa. These are all synonyms. Yupa, shidupa, shelja, sheja, shememikpa. These are all synonyms, right? Yeah. So now the other guy wants to say, look, if you say an existing objects is a synonym for all existence. Can we talk about existing objects for a while? And we say, yeah, let's talk about existing objects for a while. He says, can you give me a definition of what a existing object is? And we say, yeah. He says, I'll give you a definition for existing object. Okay, go ahead. Le rikpa chawi che.
It can be perceived by the mind.
Yeah, an existing entity which is perceived by the mind. Okay. He says, and the definition of an object which equals existence, right, is any existing entity which is perceived by the mind. Okay. Then he says, and I'll tell you one more thing. If you don't put ch in the definition,
Existing, something that exists, or
yeah, which means if you define object as anything which is known by the mind, okay, if you define object as anything which is known by the mind, che she mamuna, if you don't mention existing object which is known by the mind, then when you get very sick, I don't know, sorry, when you press your eyeball with when you look at the moon and you stick your finger against your eyeball and you press hard and you see two moons, then that must exist. There must really be two moons in the sky. Okay. Then we say, why do you say that? And he said, well, your definition of existence is anything which you perceive with the mind. But that's a bad definition. You should have said anything which is an existing thing which is perceived by the mind is the definition of an object. Okay, got it, Adam? He says you cannot define you as lo rikpa jawa.
Yeah.
That thing which is perceived by the mind. Because there's lots of things you perceive with your mind that don't exist. Okay. Why? Like two moons in the night sky when you press your eye. Okay. Are you telling me that's a you? Okay. Okay. And he says, look, for me, you and Sheja are synonyms. What's that mean?
They mean the same thing. They're yin yang. They both apply to the same objects.
Yeah. An object and a thing which is an unknowable thing is the same thing. And Shepa and Rikpa are Dunchik.
Yeah. Awareness and perception.
Good. Perfect. Okay. Sarah. So Sarah means there's something. What about what I said, Adam?
There's
Horribly wrong.
There's something,
There's something wrong. There's something wrong. Probably with his insistence that we say an existing thing which is seen by the mind. Okay. Sure. All right. Here we go. All right. And here's our counter argument. For counter arguments, we need Venerable Gyaltse, who is a master of counter argument. If she's awake, are you awake? Yeah, Ona. Okay. Nice, nice. Oh. Let's cut that. Let's cut that. Okay. Here's our response. Well then, when your Wangshe is Trupa, what's that mean?
When your awareness is faulty.
Yeah, when your sense awareness.
When your sense awareness, yeah,
is messed up because you stuck your finger in your eye. Okay, and you see Dawani.
Two moons.
Those two must be Sheja.
Yeah.
They must be knowable things.
Yeah, because they are Rikja.
Yeah, right.
Because they're perceived.
Yeah, and knowable thing in Buddhism means existing thing. Okay. Okay, so I guess they must be existing things. Why? Because they are perceived things.
Well, you saw two of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then no.
If you let's say you agree.
Yeah, if then I guess it means, Ngungel. Come on. You can't say two moons in the sky because you stuck your finger in your eye is existing. It's not an existing thing. Anybody could understand that. Now, if you say makyat means just because it is known by the mind just because it is perceived doesn't mean it's known. Because known thing always exists, but perceived things don't always exist. Okay. He's trying to make a distinction between known and perceived. Okay. Makyamna, please read.
Makyamna, Shipa, Shipa dan Ripa dun Shipa.
Yeah.
Sam Chang He Lang So.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody can tell me what boo means?
You said it. You're the one who spit that out.
It was just,
Yeah.
I
Boo means,
reject your claim.
boo means puh.
I spit it out.
It's also the verb for playing a trumpet. Okay. Okay. I guess knowing and perceiving don't mean the same thing, huh? Okay. Why? Because something you know exists, but something you perceive doesn't have to exist, like the two moons. Okay. Then he just puts on means, the point at which you would say blah, you already accepted that. Okay. You said Sheja and Richa are the same thing. Okay. Don't blame me. Okay. You're the one who insisted on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Madhumna, if you don't agree to my logic above, then the fact that the two moons is perceived by the mind is canceled. Okay. Are the two moons perceived by the mind?
Yes.
So can we say that anything perceived by the mind is the definition of existence?
No.
No, you can't, because two moons don't exist. It's just one. Okay. All right. And I got good news for you guys. He does not help us further. He dumps us and goes to Shinlu. It's the wrong one. Sorry.
That's not good news.
By the way, don't worry. He's coming back to it heavy. He's gonna prove it at the end. Okay. Don't sweat. He's not a wimp. All right. Who's checking you? Kelsey, you're not done yet.
Oh, sorry.
Nipa, Rang Lu Ni, Yogi Ni Lo Rik Par Cha Wow.
Whoa, that's not very happy. What's it say, Adam?
We're going straight into the second part where we give our opinion about things.
Yeah. And
And the definition of an object is anything that can be perceived by the mind.
yeah, and I would almost go a little stronger. I would say the definition of an existing object is anything which is perceived by the mind.
That's right.
Well,
I think you said that.
Okay.
we already have problems with that because you can perceive two moons with the mind when you press your eyeball, right?
Yeah. What about Nipa?
Yeah, well, let's go talk about it. In the Tsepapoa.
Okay. Tsepapoa
Wait, Nick wants to check you. He's begging me. I can see him.
ni Hashinare
Good.
na yo chin yina lo yin kapatao. Yo yina.
Wait, let's
Was that up or down? Up or down?
It's a combination of both.
Uh-huh.
Yay. That's called covering your bases. Hey, that means you can run for president, I think. Okay, here we go. Wait, are you going up or down? Check a shot.
Let's see. I'll go down. Was it Ona Yochin Yena Lo Yimpe Kabata?
Yeah. Are you telling me if something is an object holder, right? A subject state of mind. Are you telling me if something is a state of mind, it has to be the mind?
Yeah.
If you say something is an object, subject state of mind, which is holding to an object, is it mind? Is it always mind? Yes. Why? Because you said in your Rang Luke that if something is an object of perception, it must be perceived. It must be something that the mind perceives. Okay. So we said if something is an object of perception, it has to be something that the mind perceives. And he says, oh, well, then if something holds your object of perception, it has to be mind, right? Okay. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. And then he says, oh, well then lokshe misi.
Lokshe misi parn gur shepe ken jepar chela go wa te yo tang shel jat ben chik mao. If it would it'd be impossible to it'd be impossible to
It'd be impossible to misperceive anything.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to misperceive anything. Okay, let's go at it again. Okay, yo, meaning existing object, right? Is anything which you perceive with your mind. That's our definition. That's our Ranglam. That's our position. That's Dharmakirti's position.
Yeah.
The definition of existing object is anything you see with the mind. And then the other guy says, well, then if something has an object, it has to be mind, right? We say, yeah. And we say, well, then if it's an object, it must be something that the mind perceives. And we say, yeah. And then he says, okay, so it's impossible to misperceive anything. Okay. Kyunje, he's kyunje to us. What's that mean?
he's kind of showing us the problems that
Yeah, he's criticizing us. He's criticizing us. Okay. Goa day yoldan shelja dunchik tamao. This Goa means chirgo. Chirgo. What's that mean?
It's our opponent.
Yeah, the opponent is trying to say that object of the mind and anything under consideration by the mind are synonyms. Okay. Object of the mind and something which the mind is considering, those two are synonyms. And that's fair, right? Rebecca's nodding because she's actually listening. Or else, I don't know, Gunnar is tickling you from the back. I don't know. All right. Okay, now, what are we going to say to this guy? Here we go, Adam. Rebecca wants to check you. Rebecca wants to check you. Dela.
Hela din japar jete. Yo chen yina tema yinbe kapata. Yo yina shaja yinbe kape.
Okay, good. So Dela di japajate. And then Dharmakirti is leaning in. Kedubje is leaning in and saying, here's what you can say to the guy. Here's what you can say to the guy. Okay. You want something to say to the guy? Yeah. Say to him, Yul Chen Yina. If something is a subject state of mind, it must always be
An accurate perception.
Yeah, accurate. All subject states of mind, which in Tibetan and Sanskrit are called object holders, must be accurate. Why? Because if something is an object of the mind, it's under consideration by the mind. It always, always. And we all agree that that thing which is considered by the mind is the definition of existing thing. Okay? That's a definition of existing thing. Okay. So here's what you can say to the guy. Well, I guess any state of mind which is holding an object must be correct. And he says, why do you say that? And we say, because object and object of consideration is the same thing. Okay. Keep going. Korsum lokshe. Korsum.
Korsum loshem sipar gur shepa kuni. Dani kyang dawani. Zim wang shake yo detail. Shaky yo detail. They rik ja yimbe dana.
Okay. So korsum means, look, you made a fool out of yourself. Why? When you say it's impossible to have a wrong perception, okay? When you say to us, it's impossible to have a wrong perception, okay? You're saying that Dawanyi is the Dawanyi Zingi Wangsheke Yu. Okay, I'll say it again, Adam, and I want to hear you translate it.
Okay.
You must be saying that Dawanyi is the object of the eye, which believes it sees Dawanyi.
Okay, yeah, you must be saying that the two moons are the object that thinks it's seeing the two moons.
No, not even that. Object, okay. Object, okay. In other words, Adam, can you have a Yulchen, can you have a subject state of mind that doesn't have an object?
No.
You can, because you can see two moons.
Okay.
That's all. That's the argument here. That's the argument here. Okay, I'll say it again. Can you look up in the sky, press your eyeball really hard, and see two moons? Yes. Do you have a state of mind which is seeing two moons? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, big question here. Does that state of mind have a Yule or not? Up by himself.
No, it doesn't have one.
No, we cannot say that. Yeah, we cannot say that it has an object because object implies existence.
Mhm.
Okay, you have to say you're not seeing anything. Okay, that's kind of weird, right? Okay. So we're trying to say Rikcha and Sheja are the same. And in Rangluk, Rikpachawa is Yokiseni. And Shepachawa is, what is it? I don't know. Shejeseni. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you say that you can look up at if you say that there is an object of that perception, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Did you look up at the moon? Did you look up in the sky today? Yes. Were you pressing on your eyeball with your finger? Yes. Did you see two moons? Yes. Were they the object of your perception?
Uh-oh.
Did you have an object of perception?
No.
No, you have to say no. In our system, you have to say no, because when you say the word object, it means existing object. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you agree that you had an object? Now, here's what this last line says here. Okay. And this is the last thing we're going to do tonight. So hang in there. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Did you look up in the sky tonight? Yes. Were you pressing on your eyeball? Yes. Did you see two moons? Yes. Were they an object of your perception?
No.
Now, suppose he says yes. Okay. Suppose he says yes. I did have an object. It was the two moons. Then we say, Duna, if you agree that you had an object of perception, then that wasn't a lokshe.
Okay, that wasn't mistaken
Yeah.
perception.
If what you saw when you squeezed your eye was an object, then the state of mind looking at it was correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Because object is a synonym for existence in Dharmakirti school. Cool?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, good. Okay, let's stop there, you guys.
Thank you again.
Perfect timing.
Yay.
Is there any is there Korsum, like Korti Korsum, is there why three times in a circle? Any reason?
I could count it out for you someday, but it's somehow that you have contradicted yourself. Yeah.
Okay, but just but why, three?
It may have to do with the three relationships, yeah, or the three confirmations, yeah, something like that. He said that if something is this, then it's always that. Okay, and is this that? Yes. Then is it that? No. Okay, then Korti Korsum. It's kind of, he blew it on the third round. How's that?
Yeah, okay. Right. If it takes 3 steps to get back to your first position.
Yeah.
First position, then you disagree with something. If you end up back there again, then somehow maybe that's 3.
Yeah, exactly. The third one is the boo-boo.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys. Now, what would be the cruelest thing to do to Geshe-la after 5 hours of teaching classes?
Can you do a Q&A?
No, it would be to ask me to have a meeting. Like, that's the cruelest thing I could think of. But I don't know about you guys.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
There is a Q&A tomorrow, but it's only after 2 hours of teaching.
Yeah, 2
With
hours I can
Geshe-la.
handle. 2 hours I can handle. Okay.
And it's really fun. We do this at the end of each term, so try to make it and ask Geshe-la all the toughest questions that the rest of us couldn't answer, or
Oh.
worse.
Cool. You know, at that 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleepy. Forget it. Okay. I think the snore is the universal answer. Okay.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la, for all
Adam,
of
that was
the
an
classes.
awesome class, and you had an awesome homework, and I really appreciate that you worked so hard on it. So thank you for that. I mean, you could give a lecture based on that homework. You know that?
All right.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Thanks,
All
Kesha.
right.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Adam. All
Good
right,
night,
see you guys
everyone.
tomorrow or later today for some of you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Good
boss.
night.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.